I found that the person was a scammer. Was scam a variety of different companies. Some of them are famous. I'm not gonna mention the name. And I was one of them. I was the luckiest one. First, I was trying to study the market and see where I can find a shared restaurant. It's very challenging to just find any.
Yeah.
But when you find it, it's designed to be a shared restaurant. So there is always limitations.
Just because you don't love your job, that doesn't mean you do nothing.
End of the day, you are like so drained that you're like, you know what? I think it's time to say, stop this. So they have sometimes like 50 different food trucks or 30 different food trucks in the same area that people come into. There is that real estate doesn't exist
to do that here.
Everything's condensed.
Yeah.
And if you find a space, it will be extremely expensive. It doesn't make any sense to even be there.
Welcome to the Caravan Podcast. In today's episode, we're joined by Morad Bouzidi, the owner of Moroccan Fusion. In this episode, we're going to learn about his journey of immigrating to the United States at the age of 19, starting as a server, being a food delivery driver, and then finally opening up his food truck, but now owning his own brick-and-mortar shop and what he's hoping for the future. Being able to take Moroccan cuisine and making it accessible for those here for a fast and casual experience. Assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Today we're joined with Morad Bouzidi, the founder of Moroccan Fusion here in Boston, particularly in Boston Public Market. That's where we're at,
It is Boston Public Market.
How long have you been here for?
So we've been here since 2020.
2020, so almost, what's the specific month? Because it just turned 2026 in January right now.
So I think it was April. But don't hold me to it.
Okay.
I'm not 100%.
So we're first quarter of the year.
So we had to open in 2020 at the beginning of the year, but because of COVID, we delayed 6 months after our location was ready.
So you guys were just waiting outside, waiting for things to open up.
Correct.
How was that as a brand new business owner? Like, because I'm assuming it's a big investment opening something up, like a new, a restaurant. And then was the pause, like, did they give any leeway in terms of like the month? Like, is there a monthly fee being here?
So I'm gonna take you a little bit back. How I started the business, because we started as a food truck in 2016. Then we did the transaction from a food truck to our location here.
Okay.
So we're talking about COVID. You know what? This market, Boston Public Market, did amazing job. So because we were actually not paying any rent for I believe like 5 or 6 months until things opened.
That is
so
amazing.
Boston Public Market is a non-profit organization that helps small businesses
to get their grounding in, make that transition step.
Yes. They help you with they help you with a lot of things like they do advertising. They do it's an amazing community to start a small business for sure.
So okay, before the food truck, before opening up here in Boston, I mean, food is something that people start their journey in ever since they're a child,
100%.
right? And you immigrated here from Morocco, right? What was your food journey in Morocco like, right? Because the food quality here is always something that's kind of, questioned and debated all across this nation. But, when we're coming from abroad, we're so used to and blessed with like real food, local, organic, halal, like all these things, right? Is that where your love for food happened?
So it started really, really early. Hanging out with my mom in the kitchen, seeing how the kitchen flow and how things are done. The results, the taste, the flavor, the smell, the food, and it got me to start, my journey very early. My first dish I ever made, it was American burger. With cheese. So I made it from scratch.
In Morocco?
In Morocco with my mom's help.
Oh
I believe I was 10 or 11 years old.
And now, are you a single child or did you have siblings too?
No, we are 5. We're actually 3 boys and 2 girls. You know how it is back home. It's like, you have to have...
You need extra hands in the kitchen, right?
Exactly, 100%.
Are you the eldest? Or?
I am the oldest.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. However...
I'm a younger sibling. I think it's a blessing to have older siblings.
100%.
And so it's a lot to carry the responsibility.
Oh, for sure. You gotta say a role model.
Yeah. Was it? I mean, I think sometimes within our culture, I think there is this element of like food or cooking being like a female thing, right? Was it? Because I remember when I wanted to like learn how to cook at home, my mom was like, "What are you doing in the kitchen?"
Yeah.
And it was actually my aunt who kind of pulled me into it, and I really embraced it. Was your mom open to you like wanting to learn how to cook and make food?
Not in Morocco, or at least not in my family. I'm not sure about other families. My mom never had any problem with it. Actually, I was cooking, doing more home tasks with my mom than my female. Because they were always at school and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I loved school and everything, but I always liked to hang out with, with my mom specifically.
Yeah. So how old were you when you left Morocco to come to America?
I was 19, almost 20. And that was 2020. No, I mean 2000.
2000.
2001, I think the beginning of 2001.
So almost 26 years ago.
Yes.
You left Morocco. Yes. Now, did you work in a restaurant or back at Morocco? Or?
Yeah. So I never worked in Morocco.
Okay.
So I was 19.
Got it.
Besides school.
Yeah.
And just chilling basically. My first job that was paid job.
Yeah.
It was actually in the US.
Wow.
Before I did few jobs helping, learning.
Yeah.
I worked with electrician for no pay just because I was curious about learning.
Here?
No, in Morocco.
Wow.
In the summer when there was a break, I was very interested on doing handy stuff, learning.
Like an apprenticeship type
I worked as an electrician.
Yeah.
Or at least learning with somebody that was an electrician.
So what made you move to the US?
You know what? Looking for a different experience, something new. I mean, land of opportunities.
Yeah. And you came alone, right?
I came alone first time. Yeah, I just met friends in GFK, New York.
Yeah.
And I took it from there.
Was that scary making that step? I think here a lot of times people are scared of just moving cities, right? And like, oh, my mom will be 8 hours or 4 hours away, but you cross the entire ocean. How did your parents and your family felt as you're making this decision to come abroad?
You know how it is coming from Morocco. The opportunities are very limited. As much as they don't want you to go away, they want to see a brighter future for you. And you know what? Because of that, they will let something like that happen. And I think if you ask any Moroccan that lives outside Morocco right now as an immigrant, he will wish that he had the same opportunities back home. Again, I'm not saying my country is bad. Unfortunately, the economy, there is many things to work together.
There's challenges
exactly. It's just like any other country.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons I felt like, you know what, USA, it's always been my dream, believe it or not, even though that I thought a dream that I never can achieve.
Right.
And suddenly I won a green card. Through the green card lottery, and this is how I came in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, just because you can get the opportunity, that doesn't always mean success will follow, right? There's a lot of people who come here and it doesn't pan out well, right? And then moving back, it seems to be the best option. Sometimes just going for the best opportunity and trying is the best that you can do, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So as you made the transition here in the US, what was like your career path here looking like? Because you mentioned you worked as an electrician or apprentice as an electrician back at Morocco.
Yeah.
What were you, because you didn't have family here.
Sure.
That's a lot, right? Like housing, food, what do you do, all these things, right?
As a foreigners, you move in, there is always somebody will help. I had friends of friends that introduced me to the US for the first time.
Oh, I see.
You know what? That actually is extremely important to shape your future. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I feel like the environment, that first environment that you open your eye on in a new country, it really either speed up or hold up your experience inside the US. I started working in a bakery, coincidentally, is a food industry.
In New York?
No, actually, I moved to, I'm a jumper.
No worries, right? Yeah, so I can't keep hold of you.
So I went to Baltimore, Maryland, and I worked in a bakery over there.
So you're in New York, then in Baltimore, and you're working at a bagel shop.
Yeah, it's a bakery, actually.
Bakery, okay.
Make a variety of different brands.
Yeah. How did you know when it was the time to leave, right? Like, I think for many of people that I grew up with, right? Like, okay, you graduate high school, time to leave, you go to college. You graduate college, now's an opportunity to make another change. If you want to go to different cities, you go then, right? Like, as an immigrant, right, who's coming here, you're just trying to get to the next day paycheck to paycheck and making it happen. When were you like, all right, I did New York, now I got to go move here? What was the mindset there?
So it was easier in my situation because, as a single person, you're by yourself. It's easy to make that risk.
Yeah.
Comparing to you have family, established family already. I think it's a way more complicated. However, I always knew that in US, every state, it's a different country. Even they're all under the same flag. Economy is different. And I'm always searching for a strong economy, that life is a little bit less stressed.
Okay.
And also there is an amazing opportunity for things that I like as cooking. With time, coincidentally I came to visit. I always go to visit first.
Yeah.
Then, keep back and forth until I have the feel.
You get the confidence.
You got the confidence enough
move.
that, what, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm jumping. This is how I end up being in Massachusetts. I felt like the economy is amazing for a small state in the East Coast. Amazing food, restaurants. I work in the back and front. The opportunity of what I want to do was here. So,
scoping out where the growth is. That makes sense. So how long were you in Baltimore before you moved? You're now working at a bakery. How long do you stay in Maryland, and then coming here? 3
years.
3 years.
From there, I went to Atlantic City, New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay.
And from there, I came to Richmond. Actually, Baltimore, Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Where you met your wife?
Yes, when I met my wife. And then we moved here
to Boston.
To Boston. And one of the main reasons I moved here to Boston specifically, my wife went to BU Law School.
Oh, okay.
So we had to make that change.
Yeah.
And it was easier. As a student, there is a lot of advantage. You live with your wife on the campus. Right. So we did that for 2 years.
Nice.
Then we got out to the real world.
Okay.
Here in Massachusetts.
And how old were you then when you moved to Boston officially?
I would say,
like 26?
What is that, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
And that's put me at...
Like 27, 26?
Yeah, like almost 30. Yeah, 30.
Oh, 30,
yeah, 30.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
early 30s,
old.
Yeah.
So when was it, and what year was that? Like 2016?
I believe... No, I moved in 2013.
2013, okay. So. And so did you start working in a restaurant, or is that when Moroccan Fusion kind of started? Is that started coming back in your mind?
No, I was far away actually from that idea. But started working in a restaurant. I worked in, can I mention the restaurant that I worked at?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I worked in a little bit in Top of the Hub, which is an amazing restaurant. Then I moved to, forget the name.
Were you just working in the line at these places? And
I worked a little bit in the line, but mostly I did serving.
Okay.
Serving
so customer facing often.
Because it was amazing money.
Yeah.
Working a lot less.
Okay.
I could pick up different jobs while I'm doing.
You can do multiple.
And this is when the idea of like, okay, I want to work for myself from now on.
Yeah.
And just as I shifted to driving Uber, and because it was actually more flexible.
Right.
Just with press a button, you can stop working. Focus on different things. This is when
in a hub like Boston, there's so much tourism and people always needing rides. It's good business too, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, back then it was good money. I'm not sure about driving Uber right now. There's a lot of challenges that I have friends that do that, and like the money is not like it used to.
It's not there anymore. Yeah.
But back then it was good experience for me. It was making living out of it.
Yeah.
So I was working between Uber and
being a server.
And being a server. And this is when the idea came in. Okay, I want to do something mine, something that I grow. And, I had the chance between, I thought about opening a restaurant or a food truck. I felt like food truck, it would be a better idea because financially, I thought it would be a lot cheaper, which it wasn't at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Compared to opening up a restaurant.
Yeah.
What's the numbers? Could you run us through that? Because I think when people, for example, as a customer in general, right?
Yeah.
When I go to a food truck, I'm like, why is this $18? Why is this as much, if not more, than going to a sit-down restaurant and there's no AC above me? This is outside.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense in my head, right? And I think a lot of customers feel that way. The assumption is that a food truck should be cheaper than a restaurant.
Yeah.
Did you have that mindset before becoming an owner?
I did,
Yeah.
but you know what? Once you get into the business, you understand more details that you didn't know as you going into it, or you will not know as a consumer.
Yeah.
Because
enlighten us, because we would like to know.
Running a food truck is actually two businesses in one.
Okay.
So you are required to have a commissary kitchen, which is you're actually paying for a location, which is I didn't know when I just started.
And that's a license that even like a restaurant like here needs to have.
It needs to be either a shared restaurant or a commercial restaurant.
Oh wow. Okay.
You know, this is the challenge when numbers goes high.
Yeah. So
and
how much does it usually get to a license like that?
Yeah. Well, first I was trying to study the market and see where I can find a shared restaurant. It's very challenging to just find any.
Yeah.
But when you find it, it's designed to be a shared restaurant.
I see.
So there is always limitations on your movements of equipment you want to use.
Right.
Storage. So there is a lot of challenges when it comes, because obviously a shared kitchen is a business itself that has different rules and regulations that you have to follow besides running your food truck.
Yeah.
And then I came out with the idea to open a small commercial, not open to public, just to do my prep.
Oh, I see.
The only one I found, it was like 2 hours away, which is in Abington, which is,
oh my gosh.
You know, with the traffic, it can be a hike. Sometimes it takes me like 3 hours to go back. Imagine, you know, you start your day at 5 o'clock in the morning, living in Quincy, you have to go to Abington, do some prepare the truck, drive back through Quincy to Boston.
Is that 2 to 3 hours one way, or a round trip?
2 hours coming to Boston. It was a little bit less traffic because you start driving early. But when you're going back, it's sometimes 3 hours because of the traffic.
Like 5 hours easily gone just on the road.
100%.
Every day.
And like
every
I said,
day.
running two businesses, you start working at 11 o'clock, open the door of the business, of the food truck, close it at 12 because you're actually doing just business with professionals that work in the area.
Oh my goodness.
Then going back for 3 hours to start your day. Your day didn't start 5 o'clock in the morning to prepare for the next day, which is very challenging sometimes.
Sounds impossible.
Yeah. And you cannot, at the beginning, as a small business, you can't just hire, you don't have the capital just to hire people. That I did it eventually after like 2 years in the business. I could afford to have someone doing all the prep in the kitchen. So once I get to I just empty the truck, clean it, and I leave.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, in order to save money and stay strong financially, you can't. I couldn't personally. I don't know about somebody else's experience. I couldn't just hire.
So you have pretty much like 18-hour days.
Easily.
Right?
Oh, easily.
And it's just you. And so pricing wise, you're mentioning it's like two businesses in one, right? So you still have to get, sounds like almost the same license and paperwork that you need for an actual restaurant, like a sit-down restaurant, right? But in terms of the actual cost of the food truck, right? There's obviously the cost of you working and driving and all those elements. But where were those like hidden costs that were really coming up? Because when we think food truck, and probably maybe what you would have thought as like a first-time owner of a food truck, it's like, oh, I just get a lease or purchase a food truck, and then I buy the ingredients and then I'm done. Like that's my only cost, right? In a very simple way. But what were all these other things that were coming in? You're like, oh, I gotta pay for this and this and this and this, and you're like, this is almost much as a rental.
Well, first time when you think about food truck, like I said, you're thinking about it's gonna be a cheap way in.
Yeah.
Obviously you're not gonna buy a 2025 truck to convert it to a food truck. Otherwise, it's going to be a $200,000 business. So my first challenge is I had to buy a 1999 Freightliner to convert it. So
you had to take the vehicle and then convert it into a food truck.
Correct. That's what I did.
And how much is that?
Well, I bought it for 10 grand.
You bought just the truck's 10K?
Just the truck without
That's 10,000.
Yes.
Okay, and then the renovation of the truck.
Yes. So I was handy. I could do a lot of work by myself. But before I did,
the electrician background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It came back and it was a good help, at least to understand the idea of building a truck. However, I wasn't brave enough.
Yeah.
Because the rules and regulations of being an electrician back home is different than
from here.
You have to study everything from scratch. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that because I want to do everything the safe way. So I want to hire someone that will build it. So it comes from now I have to do my homework to find a place that will be a reasonably priced to build that food truck. First one I found, it was like some crazy number, which is like I knew I couldn't afford.
Yeah.
You know, 1 month looking into it, I found somebody in Haverhill, Massachusetts, that's gonna build the truck. I went to talk to him. The price was very reasonable.
How much was it?
You know what? You know what they say? They say if it's too good to be true, most likely it's not true.
Yeah.
So I give him the truck. He showed me the strategy and how he's gonna start. Haverhill is like 2 hours away. It's not something I'm gonna drive every day to check his updates and what he's doing. So I rely on
trust,
pictures, and hoping that whatever he's gonna share with me is 100% accurate, or at least 90% accurate.
Yeah.
So I give him $2,000. Okay, I did this and that. I give him $2,000. I went to $8,000, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to go and see the truck.
Oh, like checkpoint.
Yeah. So I go back, and the truck's still the same.
Like no work.
Nothing.
So the checkpoints, were they just verbal? Like, oh, I did this. And
exactly.
you're like, okay, wiring.
It's naive.
Yeah. Learned lessons.
I learned that. I moved on. Anyway, I found that the person was a scammer. Was scam of variety of different companies. Some of them are famous. I'm not gonna mention the name.
Yeah.
And I was one of them. I was the luckiest one.
Yeah, because only 8,000. Yeah, other people probably getting 15, 20.
For me, $8,000 back then, that was like almost $1 million.
Yeah, it was everything for you. Probably.
For me, hustling, working 2 jobs to make that money. And I hear 100,000 from this company, 150 from this company. I'm like
that's how much they lost.
So it wasn't just me. That doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe this is a sophisticated person is doing what he's doing. I mean, eventually he got what he deserved.
Yeah.
And eventually I had to move on. And I realized, following him getting whatever he gets, it's not gonna benefit me in any point. So I get to my life.
That again, talking about, it felt like $1 million because it's probably a lot of hard-earned savings you did
100%.
Working, back-breaking jobs, whether it be Ubering, serving, etc. Right? Like every dollar that you can save is like super meaningful because margins are getting lower and lower and lower.
100%.
How did you what did your wife think in this situation? Right? Because you're married.
My wife was pregnant back then.
Yeah. Let's.
It was pretty tough on both of us. She was pregnant.
Yeah.
And she was not working. She actually was going to school.
Yeah.
In a BU law school, and she was with me in the journey, and we both made decisions. I always, we talk because it's, whatever decision I make, it's not fair to be only my decision. It has to be decision that we actually discuss.
Right.
This is how we move on step by step. It's she was like, it is what it is. Let's
keep trying.
Keep pushing.
Yeah.
Keep pushing,
Did you feel that you want to be like, some might say, oh, this is a sign that I shouldn't do it, right? Did you ever feel an inkling of doubt or be like, okay, I lost 8K, let me just not pursue this? Or was like, nope, back to the drawing board, save up again?
You know what? I was lucky that I had a bigger chunk of money still on my bank account.
Yeah.
And I think that motivated me to be like, you know what? There is ups and downs in life.
Yeah.
You know what? I did not want to take a look at my dream because that experience, it was just a tiny bit of an experience comparing to where I want to be. And you know what? Looking back at it right now, if I took the decision to come out, it was going to be a wrong decision.
Yeah.
And looking back at it, I have no doubt that I made the right decision to stay in this business because it's something. I'm not in this business. You know what? I'd be lying if I say I'm not for this business only for money.
I mean, it's all part of it. It's always part of it.
100%. But
especially as men, right? Like there is a responsibility that you have to provide for your family.
Exactly.
And head out of the way. And like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah.
But I want to do what I love.
Yeah.
Eventually, not only for the money. I feel like when you love what you do,
yeah,
it's easier. it's not easy, but easier to face challenges in life.
100%. I mean, I think a lot of times it's that the baseline is to make an earning, right? As a baseline.
Yeah.
It's a blessing to love the way you're making that earning.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, just because you don't love your job, that doesn't mean you do nothing.
Yeah, true.
You have to
do something.
Do something that is providing for your family or the society that you're in. There is that level of responsibility. That's the baseline.
Yep.
Everything above that is, alhamdulillah, a blessing, right?
Exactly.
Even if it's really hard work, but if you love it, it's meaningful work.
100%.
Right? There's another layer to it.
Not only that, it's like, you know, when like you face a lot of challenges, and like I said, it was 18-hour day almost every day for 3 years doing that business by myself.
And you're driving back and forth every day,
you know
right?
what?
Yeah.
The end of the day, you are like so drained that you're like, you know what? I think it's time to say, stop this.
Yeah,
and you know what? You wake up next morning and you are like full of energy to start another day.
I want to ask you this, right? Because these are long, very, very long, difficult days. And especially as, like, you know, a lot of people, I'm not married yet, inshallah, but, you know, for someone who is married at the time, your wife is pregnant and you're coming back home late, tired, exhausted. How are you able to be present for your family at the same time? Because I think that's a lot of advice that people need in general. But I think especially as like restaurant owners or business owners, for you particularly, it's physically draining and emotionally and mentally draining, because yes, you're serving food, but you're also serving people, and you need to like smile on your face, hospitality, right? Which is so a big part within our deen as well. And then you having to go home and be like, okay, I have to be a husband now. Like, how did you make those transitions? And it's okay if you slipped, we all do, but what was your mindset to kind of tackle those type of hurdles?
You know what? I think my wife made it easy.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like working from one side. She understood that what I'm doing, it was for our own good.
Amazing.
Like, she didn't take it like I was away doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
I had a good reason
You're not
to
partying.
be. I had a good reason to be. I'll be away.
Yeah.
And she understands that at the end of the day, it's to improve our lives.
Right.
You know, which is she was also working on her degree to do the same.
Both of you guys are really putting that effort in.
There is no doubt that is challenging.
During those times, what was like favorite thing that you guys both love to do together when the free time that you did get to have?
Just to clarify something. That first 3 years, I was taking 2 days off, which is
amazing.
Yeah, I did. I didn't work 7 days a week.
You had some downtime
with the food truck. I had some downtime that I invested
so you guys just go on a walk, my family, things like that.
So I don't want to sound like I was like 24/7 on the business. No, I
mentally, you
are. You know what? There's difference between working for others. It's like you may not like it, but once you are out of that business, you are out. But when you own your own business, you actually sit and watching TV thinking about
the business. 100%.
Which is without, even when you don't want to do it, you feel like if you don't think and organize your thoughts, how you're gonna start the next day, you feel like, okay, I'm gonna waste time at the beginning of the day. Let me do it right now. And you end up being a big chunk of that time you sit in front of TV thinking about how to fix problems. You're not even watching
the show. You're like, wait, we gotta rewind it.
Exactly. Let me stop this and take time to think.
That's so okay. So you go through this, scamming situation with this food truck, renovation guy. You're like, all right, back to the drawing board. I have some more money that was saved up. Let me try again. So I'm assuming you go find a different guy this time, right?
No, actually, I didn't. I came back. I took the truck. I was lucky enough to take that truck, which is a $10,000 right there. And I bought a book. It's actually made by Harvard, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I think it is. It has how to run a food truck first. I'm studying that, and also I'm communicating with a friend of mine that is outside the state, and explaining to me the same experience that he went through. And he built the truck himself.
So you have him coaching you on how to build it.
Yes, he was like, look, this is things, he basically wrote me a guide. This is things you can do on yourself. You don't have to worry about rules or regulations. Electricity, plumbing, that's something you cannot do. You need a licensed person to hire.
Amazing.
So basically, I hired the people jobs that I couldn't do myself, and I did the work that I could do myself.
So you separate it out. You're like, these are things I need regulations. These are things I can do DIY.
Myself. Exactly.
How much did that save you?
A lot of money. You know, back then I would say a good food truck, the way I made it, it's at least between 60 to 80,000, and I bet it for 40. That's like
wow. So you saved almost half from the upper bound.
More
60 to 80. Yeah. That's amazing. I think that's definitely you have to find a way, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is sometimes that creates a sense of entrepreneurship, creativity when it comes to operating a business. And I think it's what's really interesting is like sometimes when we look at lessons like that $8,000 getting scammed for that $8,000, right? That could easily be a lesson because let's say you did start an actual restaurant and you hired somebody to renovate your restaurant. That could have been $100,000 scam easily.
Not only that,
you know what I
I mean, with a food truck, you don't have a contract with anybody, and I'm still
Yeah.
not paying any rent.
Yeah. So it could have been way, way worse.
A
So
lot worse if it was a location that is signed a 5 or 10 years lease. That is not, and building a truck is different than building a restaurant. Building a
Right.
restaurant is more challenging, it's more complex
Yeah.
project than building a food truck, because there is a lot of things you can do yourself, you know, having a food truck than
Right.
comparing to a location that every single person has to be licensed. You know, you can't just do things, you know, your way.
So once you have this food truck done, right? You're the only person running this. I mean, we haven't even gone to the food, the recipes. What was that like? Did you do a lot of experimentation at home and like, okay,
Yes.
this is the menu, this is what it's going to be?
Yes,
Okay.
100%. So actually, when the food truck was done and ready to go,
Yeah.
I just didn't have any cash to run it.
You
So I had to,
used everything to make it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I used every single penny I make it, and I
Yeah.
had to park it next to my house and go back to work
Yeah.
to
Like
make,
Uber driving, serving. Oh, you're still doing that too.
yeah, still hustling. Yeah, I couldn't
yeah,
stop it
yeah,
because I
yeah.
was the early provider
Right.
back then, and also doing homework, how the food truck business works in Boston. It was a little bit challenging because the good locations that you can be are already taken by other food trucks, and you have to be in the wait list. And you know, this is how I start building, because at the beginning I started with working only 2 days because that's all was available. Because a food truck business,
I
the business is not a just because you have a truck you can't move it. You can't be moving from.
You can't just pop up somewhere and start serving. It's not like an ice cream truck.
The spaces are controlled by the city, and there is a special program to get into it.
Yeah.
Even when I, first started with working 2 days, 3 days, I'm still doing other jobs to provide.
This makes sense. And sometimes the cost is probably higher for a food truck because there's less hours that you're actually open to operate.
It's hit or miss.
Yeah.
It can be an amazing day because for that 3 hours, and it could
You get a whole bunch of business.
Yeah, and the weather.
But 2 days a week being open for business is like, I don't want to say impossible. It's so difficult to make margins.
100%, but I wasn't doing only the food truck.
Yeah.
I had a company called like Fooda.
Fooda?
So, Fooda.
Yeah.
It's FOOD.
Okay.
A.
Okay.
So that company, I work with them. They hire you basically. You pay them a percentage to go to different companies, and you actually put a stand, build a stand over there, and serve.
Oh, like corporate
food,
building.
corporate buildings.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So that helped me to keep the
Lights
food
on.
going.
Yeah.
And also, I was making extra money.
Yeah.
And then at night, I would go serving tables, stuff like
How
that.
much, like, in a high level, like per dish, right? How much would you be selling like one dish for? And then like, what would be the margin on that? Like, how much can you take home and say profit? Like, this goes for $20. I'm making $4 on this bowl.
Yeah. Without even thinking it at the beginning, I didn't have a solid method to really calculate.
Yeah.
So, however, I had enough product. I'm talking about the beginning. So, the beginning, I had enough profit that give me comfort to keep going on the business.
Okay.
Then I understood that, 20%, 15, 20 to 25%.
Yeah.
And this is of food cost. That's just what I have to
So making a dish, let's like, what was it, like $12, I imagine, for a
So
lunch
I
meal,
started
or
with $10.
$10.
You know, back then.
25% is the material cost to make that one bowl.
Exactly.
From the, okay, containers, spoons, everything. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if that between, I would say 20 and 30%.
Yeah. And then probably
that's amazing.
another 20% imagine like for gas and everything else,
Exactly.
right?
And not mentioning myself working for free.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah. Okay, so your margins are pretty slim, right? I mean, like on average, I think for restaurants, like 10 to 20%. 20% is like amazing, right?
Exactly. 100%.
So if you hired somebody, you're looking at like a 20%, maybe 15% margin per bowl that you're selling, right? Which, you know, that's $1.50, $2, right, per bowl. So I think when people see this price, they just see, oh my goodness, I can make this at home. Yeah, you could. You could make this at home, right?
I know, 100%.
But it is a lot of labor to do it at scale, the convenience,
as a business,
the flavor, consistency, right? So
following rules and regulations.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Too many things get together.
So how long did you do the food truck for?
So from 2016 to 2020 or the middle of 2019.
Okay.
I did the food truck. This is when I was contacted by Boston Public Market. And I started getting involved more on having this location here. And I realized there is no way I could do both. It's the food truck. It was just, you know, energy. It's like a drain. It drains you because the cities, even the city of Boston, it's, you know, they do things to keep things safe. Real estate, it's a huge challenge. There is no space. Like, for example, I know I did some homework, Florida, for example, or Texas. So they have sometimes like 50 different food trucks or 30 different food trucks in the same area that people come into. Real estate doesn't exist
to do that here.
Everything's condensed. And if you find a space, it will be extremely expensive. It doesn't make any sense to even be there.
So was the food truck, like in hindsight now that you're here, you know, a brick and mortar location, do you feel like the food truck was a necessary step to get to where you are now? Like, did you feel like owning the food truck helped you save up more capital faster to open up this restaurant? Or do you think if you had just stayed focused on being a server and an Uber driver, would you be saving up at the same pace? Like, what would help you transition faster to opening up this location? Or do you think the food truck is a necessary step for small business owners who are wanting to go into?
Back then, that's how I looked at it.
Back then, but don't
forget the opportunity of opening Boston Public Market location. It came out in 2020.
Oh,
you know,
okay. So this is dead space at the time.
So based on the information and work, and you know, I in my experience in the business, I thought that food trucking would be a good idea. Thinking back, probably I could do it differently. With that being said, working on a food truck with that level of stress taught me fast things that can be done from a small locations. Otherwise, I cannot visualize myself running a business from a 200 square feet.
It gave you the experience and confidence to do this.
Yes, you know, it's a huge difference between opening a 200 square feet and you can run your business from, and then opening a restaurant that is 3,000 square feet. And expenses that comes with. Right. It's a huge difference. And I think I couldn't visualize myself running a restaurant from a 200 square feet if I didn't go through the food truck experience.
What were the key decisions that made you go like, okay, I'm in the food truck, I'm doing this, I think I want to do a restaurant? What were the factors that were going into that decision making?
I want to shrink the time that I'm putting at work.
Okay.
So I'm working on the food. I'm working in my kitchen from, let's say, 5 or 6
a.m.
to 9, driving, serving the food for 3 or 4 hours, coming back to the restaurant, sometimes you need to help with doing prep. In the location, you're actually in a slow time that you can easily do your prep at. So I'm shrinking it from 18 hours to, let's say, 10 hours, which is an amazing
You're doubling your,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you're making
yeah.
the same money, and,
Yeah.
and I did even better
Right.
with this
Alhamdulillah.
location.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So
That's amazing. I mean, I think
it was an easy transaction. I know that at least I can save, 30% of the time that I'm putting in on the business.
and that's really important, right? Because I think sometimes people don't fully consider their time as a value element, right? And I think it's something you need to calculate in your decision making. Like, okay, if I can make the same amount, or if I can make 10% less than what I make right now, but I get half my day back, if I get 6-7 hours every single day, that's meaningful,
You know what?
right?
I understood that the hard way.
Yeah.
I had to go through the experience so I can get
Right.
that answer. I wish I sat down with you.
yeah.
We met before.
Yeah.
So I listened to your opinion, which is
Yeah.
a valid opinion for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so you are, you kind of defined your success at that point, making that transition that, okay, if I can make the same amount for less time, that'll be success for me. And
100%.
seems like you've achieved that with this transition.
Yeah,
And you're happy with that's the decision that you made, right?
for sure.
So what was, because even then that's a big leap, right? Because the investment, I assume, for the food truck, let's say, if you didn't go the DIY route that you did, you said it was like 60 to 80,000 that it would take,
Yeah.
right? What was it opening up the restaurant now? Like, what was that cost? Is that more expensive than a food truck?
It's about the same.
About the same. Okay.
It's about the same. If in my circumstances
Yeah.
it was the same. Again,
but that's
for
because
somebody
Boston
else-
Market was
because of the idea, the opportunity. I think sometimes life make decisions for you,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
at
yeah.
least put you on the right angle.
it's like,
to
hey, this is a gimme.
Yeah, this is what I want to be, and
Yeah.
the opportunity come out, and you are like, you know what, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Just from my experience and the way I was, Almighty put me on
Right.
that right direction to make the decisions I made that I don't regret any of it.
Yeah. Did you have to sell your food truck? Or
Actually, I still have it.
you still have it?
It's funny. My wife want me to sell it every day,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know what? It reminds me about the struggle,
Yeah.
And
It's
that-
sentimental.
and I show a lot of respect
Yeah.
to what that food truck went through, hustling and bustling with me,
Yeah.
and I still have it. I haven't run it since 2019.
Really?
It's still parked.
Yeah. Amazing. Maybe catering orders, you take it on that one?
You know what? I don't.
You don't? Okay, this is purely
Makes
for
zero
you.
money.
yeah.
And I look at it every time I pass. I'm parking in. Every time I pass, I go check it,
Yeah.
open it, I close it,
Close it.
and I leave.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It is hard to
Sometimes you tear up. Thinking about
because it's so, that's where the first steps happen,
100%,
right?
you know.
I mean, even like I'm sure you're a parent, but I know there's things my mom has that I wore from when I was a baby. I'm like, Mom, why is it still doing it? She's
You know
like,
what?
you wouldn't get it.
let's talk about my life story.
Yeah.
I have clothes. Well, my wife has
Yeah.
clothes, baby clothes.
Yeah.
From my son is 12 right now.
Yeah.
From, I'm talking from day one.
Yeah.
She still has it, and I'm like, listen, it's the same experience.
Yeah.
You have it with my son's clothes.
Yeah.
I have it with
my
the food truck.
Yeah.
So I respect your life. Respect mine. You sell it what for 20,000?
Yeah.
What's the impact?
It's gonna come and go.
Yeah,
The money's gonna come and go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, eventually, actually, I have plans to run it again.
Yeah. I can
But-
see it. I can
yeah.
definitely see it.
But now I want to do it differently. I
Yeah.
want to have I don't want to be a moving food truck. Maybe in different city.
Yeah.
I have a location
That just anchors in.
anchors in with tables and everything.
Yeah.
More like a summer thing.
In Dallas, well, again, it's more space, but they've done these like renovations with like really old grocery markets that have like gone out of business.
Yeah.
And they've like made those into like a huge co-working spaces, and outside they have multiple of these like permanent food trucks that are like literally just anchored into the ground.
I wish
right?
we could do that here, but because of real estate in Boston,
Yeah, it can be
it's
challenging.
almost impossible.
But maybe the opportunity pops up on the outskirts of Boston that you can maybe able to do that. But I definitely understand the
Yeah.
sentimental meaning value.
Yeah, like I
those
mentioned,
things.
the idea comes, it will be a little bit outside Boston.
Yeah.
Because of that. I love Boston. That's the reason why I've been doing business since
Yeah.
day one in Boston. It's just there is challenges when it comes to a food truck.
Right.
business.
So when you're like, for a lot of newer business owners, right, and getting these opportunities, like here in the Boston market right now, like how do people, they reached out to you, right? But how do people find these opportunities in being places like this? And do you think it's preferred to be somewhere like here with multiple other restaurants where a lot of people are walking by in a high traffic area? Or is it better to have your own like dedicated location with just your doors?
So for through my experience, I think it was a good idea to start in this market.
Yeah.
Like we talked before about like there is some challenges located inside the market. Like for example, there is the same address, which is 100 Hanover Street.
Yeah.
But that address is connected to there is
Many
30
other
different
things.
vendors.
Yeah.
Which is create the challenge of, for example, if you're doing deliveries, the delivery people that come and pick up the food have a huge challenge to come and find you.
Yeah. And that's a challenge that exists in any big city, right?
100%.
Any big buildings and things like that. I mean, even in Dallas, right? We have in Legacy West is what it's called, but it's a similar concept, multiple restaurants, and sometimes it's not even the place where you're at is the challenge. Is like really the challenge is maybe on Uber's end, right? Where you're not able to create the infrastructure to help get those deliveries out and situated, right? Or where to go. This is the dedicated pickup area, and especially in a spot with like multiple entrances and things like that. So, but again, like not everything can always be completely perfect, but not everything is going to be all good either, right?
Some of the challenges, you are making a valid, points.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Uber Eats or DoorDash could do better
For deliveries, yeah.
for delivery, like who to hire, for example.
Yeah.
Like, like sometimes I'm on the phone with the driver trying to tell him where he is.
Like where to go,
but he does not speak any English.
Right.
Nothing offense.
I
came into this country, all I know is yes and thank you. And that's it. And I had to learn the language.
Right.
However, I looked for jobs that I could do back then that
Just
didn't
the yes
need
and
the
no's.
language and don't affect anybody. You go and that you need solid communication. Or at least a partial communication to
to go get the order.
Detect anyone.
So I
No
get
disrespect.
but I mean,
I
that's the
came in
situation,
at the
though,
same
right?
situation. Again, you have to
adapt.
adapt and learn.
Sometimes it's like
learn.
it takes time, right? But if that fault isn't necessarily on them, it's actually more on Uber not creating the tools or food delivery apps not creating the tools to meet that gap of language barriers or whatever it is.
That's actually my point.
And I think that's a very important thing because food in America is an industry of immigrants. When you talk from the back kitchen to the front, it is always immigrants who are making the food majority of the time across the board, right? And I think, when you're creating these systems, you have to make it for the people you're serving, right? So for example, we talk about Moroccan Fusion, right? This is actually, when you talk about Moroccan Fusion, it's a fusion of different things, right? But Moroccan is still its core. But when you're coming up with the recipes, you're thinking about who are the people that are going to be eating this food. It's not going to be Moroccan people that are eating this food.
No.
Right? There's things that you have to give and take.
100%.
Right? And similarly, when we create these tools, you have to create, okay, I'm trying to connect people who speak yes and no with people who need to go into a building, find the location, and then take it back to their car. I need to create the tool in this way. So when we talk about food delivery apps, right? And let's say I get an order and it's wrong, right? There's that element, okay, maybe you got my order wrong on the restaurant side, the restaurant takes that penalty, right? But when it comes to a food delivery situation and the food delivery's got, oh my goodness, this is taking too long to find, I'm not gonna get this. Do you take the financial hit? Does Uber take the financial hit? Who takes that consequence? Because you made the food, it's ready.
Yes. Most of the time, Uber take the hit because it's their fault.
Okay, so that's good.
But well, it is good and it's not good at the same time. Because my goal is to make my customer
the end
that
customer
is ordering Moroccan Fusion. He's not ordering DoorDash because they don't make the food.
Right.
So even the bag it doesn't have an Uber
It says Moroccan Fusion.
It has Moroccan Fusion.
Yeah.
So a lot of consumers don't understand that Uber and Moroccan Fusion are two different entities. And
they put the blame on you.
It could.
Yeah.
People are smart.
Yeah.
People are smart.
Yeah.
However, when you, at the end of the day, you are rating your experience. You're not, you're not gonna be trying to find the excuses for me as Moroccan Fusion or for Uber. At the end of the day, you ordered a food that you want to consume that you didn't get.
Yeah. You're left hungry.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's
and
the last
again,
thing you
Moroccan
want.
Fusion is involved.
Yeah.
It's not my fault, but you know what? It would affect my business.
Right.
If it's not in the long term, at least in the short term.
Yeah.
So this is why I came in right now. I don't do any Uber Eats or DoorDash, at least with this location.
For now,
until maybe I open my inshallah my restaurant. And give it a try again and see how it's going to work.
Yeah. So when we're talking about food and creating products and these tools to be more for the end consumer, I want to go into the recipe development and making food, right? Because I think there is this element of still honoring your roots, still embodying Moroccan, culture and cuisine and spices and the history of the food that you're making, but also making it palatable and for the end consumer, right?
Yeah.
What were things as you're making these recipes that you're like, I got to give this up. People aren't ready for this one, right? Or I got to add this. Like, I know if I add this, then Moroccan people are going to get upset. It's like, oh, this isn't authentic, right? That's a big heated debate that you can have. Like, what were those things you were sacrificing and letting go of?
So, starting the food truck business from the beginning, it came in with, I was focused on too many things at the same time.
Okay.
The goal was to open the food truck. So making the menu that I created back then, it was based on my experience. Wasn't even Moroccan Moroccan inspired food came in with time little by little. I'm gonna explain. So I started, I see food trucks that are successful doing business right next to me. I have 5 or 10 people line. They have 50 or 100 people line. And I noticed that it's not only about creating food, you have to think about speed. Speed is very crucial. People are there, they have like an hour break. They want to eat in 15 minutes or like 30 minutes, and they want 30 minutes to just chill in the sun. Obviously talking about food truck, talking about the summer and the good weather, even though I done it in both sides. But when you really make the money is the summer when the weather is amazing. And I start, you fix the problem based on the situation. And this is when it came in the idea. One day I'm going to Chipotle. I'm actually a fan of Chipotle.
Yeah.
I like it. I like Mexican food. I love Mexican food. Even though you mentioned that it's not real Mexican food, but at least for me, it was good enough. And you know what? The convenience and the speed made a lot of sense. This is when it came the idea, okay, I need to involve Mexican, Chipotle is Mexican food. CAVA is Mediterranean. Why not Moroccan Fusion is Moroccan? So, however, the food needs to be served with the same idea. Fast casual. Something you build while you're talking to people. So this is when I eliminate some items that I felt like taking time to do. And this is when I created Moroccan style bowl. So I'm building it while I'm talking to you, and it takes 20 to 30 seconds.
To assemble it together.
Instead of 2 minutes to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Even though 1 minute
adds up. If you have a line,
adds up. You're losing so much money having that line. People knowing that they have to wait, even when they come and talk to you to create.
Because if there's 6 people in front of you and each bowl is taking 1 to 2 minutes, it's maybe about 15 minutes till you get your bowl.
People are okay to wait for you. But they know once they get to you, you're gonna build their food in 15 seconds.
Exactly.
So it's more, it's more approachable this way than, I gotta wait on the line, then I gotta wait when I place my order. So he's waiting twice instead of waiting once.
Walking, talking, serving.
Working, talking, serving.
Yeah.
That's it. And this is, our menu is like, build your bowl.
Yeah.
You pick your base, which is amazing aromatic yellow rice.
Okay.
We got chilled quinoa salad. We have cauliflower rice. We have Moroccan style couscous.
Oh, wow.
Then you go to the next section, which is braised beef, Moroccan style, braised lamb, this is a huge dish in Marrakesh.
Yeah.
We have Moroccan style chicken. Then we have tofu.
Oh, wow.
Tofu has nothing to do with Morocco.
Yeah.
Like, again, this is a menu that I created.
But you're also, I mean, this is the thing, right? When it's being a host and like even Islamically, you want to make it where everyone feels welcomed. Everyone can get something on their plate, right?
100%.
And even if your culture doesn't have tofu, we're like, well, there's people here that eat tofu. I want them to feel welcome, want them to be belonging, right?
You know what? It's inspired by Moroccan cuisine.
Yeah.
So the tofu, it's actually, we have a Moroccan dish called, fish tagine.
Fish?
Tagine.
Tagine.
So
Okay.
the tagine, actually, it's on my logo, which is a Moroccan style. It's a pot.
Okay.
That's been used for thousands of years
Yeah.
to cook food.
Wow.
We use the same idea of cooking our food.
Yeah.
So basically, the
like a clay
shape
pot.
is like a pyramid.
Yeah.
The lid, and the food is cooked in a slow temperature, and the steam, it goes and circle back on the food in
Yeah.
a circle. We use the same method of cooking all our foods.
Oh, so you still use...
The same ideas,
Yeah.
just differently, because I
Okay.
couldn't use a Moroccan pot
Yeah.
to create that much food.
But it's the same method
The
of
same
cooking.
method.
Okay,
we
okay.
use special ovens
Yeah.
to create those dishes. I'm gonna go back to the tofu.
Yeah.
So we said fish tagine. We took off the fish and we substituted it with tofu. We kept all the spices.
Everything same.
Everything the same. And it has almost the same experience.
Yeah.
And people love it. Vegans, vegetarians.
Yeah.
They are like, okay, I'm sick of tofu. I'm like, hey, give it a try.
Like, this
Give
is
it a try.
different. Yeah.
Hey, you don't like it? It's gonna be on me.
Yeah.
And you know what? I never had to pay any of those.
Alhamdulillah.
So, alhamdulillah.
That's awesome. I mean, I think that is really incredible in being innovative on these types of recipes, right? And that's something you could probably get only here, right? It's not something you can probably get even in Morocco.
That's
right?
the idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
And so, what is there something on the menu that you really would love to have, but financially, from the business side, just doesn't make sense?
Well, there is a lot of dishes in Morocco that technically cannot be served fast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, for example, we have a pastilla, which is it's a phyllo dough stuffed with. There are two versions. We have the fish version, seafood version, and the chicken version. It has a specific procedure. I love fresh food.
Yeah.
And I felt like if I will have it in the household, it will torture it. It has to be crunchy. It has to be crispy.
There's
so many challenges to tweak.
Yeah.
That having it in the fast food industry,
Would
it would be
work.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I rather keep that dish for high-end Moroccan restaurants, which is at the end of the day, I want to be a door to introduce people to Moroccan food cheaper.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's challenging to go and drop a $40 dish that you don't even understand the cuisine, instead of coming to us and paying $13 or $14.
You want to be an entryway into Moroccan cuisine.
That's my plan. That's my plan. So I want to be in between. That's the gap that I'm trying to fill it.
What's your favorite restaurant here in Boston? What's your favorite Moroccan restaurant here in Boston, if there is one?
You know what? It's closing one by one.
Really?
Yeah. One of my favorite one that is already closed, it used to be in Somerville, called Moroccan Hospitality. Okay. It was run with two women.
Yeah.
That they are the head chefs.
Oh, wow.
Cooking an amazing dishes. And unfortunately, when COVID came, it hit them hard. And they had to close. So that was my favorite one. Right now, I'll be honest. It seems like another gap that I want to close to at some point that will open a high-end Moroccan restaurant. So I'll be the one that introducing Moroccan cuisine to a high-end restaurant that eventually, hopefully, is owned by me.
Yeah.
If I get there. It's a dream.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Well, maybe the folks at Moroccan Hospitality, if they want to get back into the scene,
I would love to have
potential business partners to make something happen.
Even without me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big believer of there is no, creating a good experience doesn't have to be a negative, what do you call it? Competing. So, for example, this market right here, there's a different vendors and a lot of people are like, is it challenging to compete with all these people? And I'm like, listen, nobody will come to this market to eat Moroccan Fusion every day.
Yeah.
If I get people to eat just twice a week and being happy in the market because they have the variety, the diversity, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't eat Moroccan food every day. Even though I'm Moroccan. 25, 26 years here, I like Mexican food.
Variety is good, right?
Variety is always...
It makes you appreciate it more too.
100%.
Right? So.
You know, you gotta be foodie person that is willing to take that challenge. I know sometimes it's disappointing because the challenge is not met with the good food.
Yeah.
But again, it is worth it to be open-minded to try different cuisines, because a lot of times you end up finding some hidden gems. It's like, wow, why didn't do that before?
And you find influences there too that you can bring in, right, into your own work in different ways. Now, when it comes to, so you're open here 7 days a week?
Yes.
Right? Is that, and that obviously, you know, you're working less per hour. Are you here every day?
No, now what I'm doing, I have a staff.
You have a team now.
Doesn't mean I'm not working. I am doing work that I couldn't do before.
You get to invest your time on branding and marketing.
Exactly. Talking to people, shaking hands, being with you. I wouldn't be able to talk to you even if I want to. If you take me like 10 years ago. There's no way I can make time to have this conversation. Even though if I love to. So.
What's been what are you looking forward to next in this year? What is success for you now looking like?
You know what? Being that long in the business, I think it's time to open another location.
Number 2,
Another location now. Thinking another location in Boston.
But
again, so far it's just an idea that I feel like I'm ready to make that move.
I think so. You know, I think one of the hardest things in any business is making it operate without your presence. Do you have a good team that knows how to show up, make the food, serve if you're sick, if you can't be there looking at everything?
It's 100%. You know, you can't, the more you grow, is the more challenging to be inside the business working hand to hand with your work, with employees. Having a system that makes sure that the food comes out with you or without you is extremely crucial and important, because there is a lot of things you can do behind the scene that will improve the opportunity to build the business up and keep the quality of the food the same. So having a system to train the employees, and right now I have recipes, and I have write down how to execute those recipes, because it's extremely important. That's what makes food taste the same every day. For example, the idea of cooking small batches instead of, even my oven I can afford. I have a big oven enough to cook, a 200 pound of meat. I rather cook just 20 pound or 30 pound at the time. Keep, I think about consistency, quality, the freshness of the food, and to explain and train people the right way to make decisions, even when you're not there.
So, I mean, you're in your 40s, right?
Yes.
What do you think in terms of like Islamic, there's this level of like Islam that we need to have in everything that we do, right? Really putting our best effort in. How as like a leader now have you been able to train people with this mentality, Islam, who you have a diverse team, right? And how are you able to integrate that and show that? because I think so much that we do, especially as like someone who is serving food, right? You are embodying Moroccan culture, you're embodying Islamic culture and characteristics. There's so many things to you that you're being a representative of as a leader in the kitchen, as a server to the community that comes in and eats here. Is that something you think about consciously?
Can you clarify your question?
Sure.
I want to give you the right answer, but
like, how do you what keeps you grounded that you do your best every time? And how are you able to coach and teach that to others? Like, what makes you, because there's a lot of business owners who slack off or lack off, right? And then the food that they're having and serving because it gets busy, but you're making sure that every customer gets the best that they can get, right? Why is that so much so important to you?
Well, you come in with the idea, you want to create food.
Go ahead.
It's okay. Go ahead. No worries.
Go ahead.
So, again, at the beginning, I told you I am in this business because of the love of it.
Yeah.
Besides making money.
Right.
And I take it personal. This is the first thing I do every day. Not every day, but when I come, I try the food.
Yeah.
And I want to taste what I like to taste. There is a specific notes that I gotta taste on the food.
Has hit every note. Yeah.
Like I said, building a system that the food will be cooked the same way, even when you're not there, is extremely important. Training people.
Yeah.
Treating people right, fairly, in the right way. Because when you bring somebody in, you invest in your money. Mm-hmm. Because for 2 weeks or at least sometimes even a month,
you're training
them, showing them. So this is money you're paying them. That's an investment you make on your business. Not treating him fair after that when he learned.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not fair to me.
Right.
Investing all my time and on that person and creating a horrible hassle environment.
Yeah.
So treating people right, keeping them as long as you possibly can. If they are happy, they are not going anywhere. They like you as an owner. Treat them fairly. Treat them as I would be treated. Mm-hmm. It's simple.
Yeah.
That's the minimum you can do.
Do you think being like a server and an Uber Eats delivery person and then all these roles, because you kind of did all of the roles until now you're an owner. Do you think that played a major impact on you?
Specifically serving tables, I thought it sharpened my customer service level. And I always know every restaurant every table that I go to, it has to go with a different strategy. You have to notice small things when as a server. Like, for example, if there is a couple, this is something I learned with time in talking to other coworkers.
Yeah.
If you are serving couple, you want to be fairly talking to both sides.
You're right.
Instead of focusing on one of them.
You can't always be customers always right. Because then you're disregarding your teammate and what they think.
Well, at the end of the day, the customer is there for good service.
Yeah, 100%. For sure.
So you have to provide that customer service. And like I said, every table, I look at it as a different, it has a different way and approach. Some people are talkable.
Everyone
want to talk to you and they want to know your life.
Yeah.
And you got to figure out that table want to talk to you. Are they there for a reason of you just want to talk?
Some people just want company.
To each other.
Yeah.
Small things. And you know what? It created that sense of...
You get the hints.
Understanding people.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that. Maybe with time it's just come to me.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes people just call social cues, right? When you're hanging out with friends, there's cues that people do without saying the loud part, right? And I think when you're going to the table, I imagine okay, these people are here for a private conversation.
Exactly.
I just need to go in to fill in the water and go there. But then there's other people hi, how are you? And they want your life story.
You gotta notice the small things on the conversation.
Yeah.
So those are your hints.
Yes.
How you're gonna treat that table.
Yeah.
If that make any sense.
It does. And I think as a diner, I do think about that at times. I'm okay, I'm gonna have a very serious conversation with this person. And then, the waiter, which of course is all well intentions, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that makes a huge difference on your dining experience.
100%.
I think there's a lot of layers to these things. And I think when we are talking about as diners, we just have this one level of expectation as a consumer, because I think we're in such a stage of hyper convenience that we forget that not everyone is operating with billions of dollars of budgets like an Amazon or a Walmart or a McDonald's or whatever it is, where a small business owner has so much little capital and resources that we forget to even out the balance field, even out the expectations, and just assume that it's just as easy for them, right? And so I think this is a perspective that's always very much needed. But so your big goal, moving to the next step, is opening up hopefully your own new restaurant. Inshallah this year, maybe next year, we'll find out. But keep us in the loop. Is there any advice that you would give for people who are going from thinking about starting a business in restaurant? Because it's a lot of risk. Majority of restaurants that open close within its first year.
I think it's the hardest business year, right? In my opinion, even though I haven't experienced any other businesses. But from information and data I collect, a restaurant is one of the toughest.
Absolutely.
Like an average restaurant go out of business in the first year. Or 3 years.
And margins are small. Again, you say you get it for the money, but
get it smaller every day. Inflation from one side. Just an example, chicken. 99 cents a pound 15 years ago, 10 years ago, comparing to $3.
What?
It's 100 to 200% shift. You know, if you compare my data 10 years ago to comparing to what data, it's like shrinking in a scary direction.
So I want to open on that, because data is big, right? Like, I work in AI, and data is obviously one of the major things in that space. But you seem to be very data driven in the restaurant industry, which with a lot of other business owners in the restaurant space, it's something like they're tapping into or understanding much later in their career, right? Was that always an important factor from the day you opened, is understanding, like, okay, this is the margin, this is consumer rate, this is where I can make reductions? Like, you seem to be very data driven. Has that always been the case?
It didn't start this way. So as a small, like you mentioned, as a small business person, you actually, you learn in little by little. It's different between a big corporations come in, prepared and know all the angles that this is how we're gonna tackle this business. They have a solid data that they are making decision based on from today to the next 5 or 10 years. As a small business, you start day to day. You have to be open to learn and open to understand what you're doing by yourself. You cannot afford to hire a company that will do that side of work. Maybe that's what's taken me too long to grow. It hold you from growing, because first you need to make sure you understand all the sides of business besides just being a good chef. You know, creating a good product, it's not necessarily is gonna help you.
It's not gonna let you win.
Succeed in the business. It's not. It's absolutely not. It's not even 1%.
Wow.
Because I'll just give you an example. There is a lot of products I buy that was tricked into buying because of the branding.
The branding, the marketing.
The marketing, the way they reach the consumer. There is, you know, you find out with time that there is too many things behind the scene working together that you are trying to do as a one individual, trying to learn and apply on your business. And it takes time to basically understand it, fully understand it, and apply it on your business. This is why I think small businesses are less to succeed comparing to big businesses. As much as you think, I wanna do business with the small one, sometimes it's hard to reach because he's not exposing himself to you as a business, as a product, you know.
And that's very important, because I think you're kind of mentioning how, like, it is now that you're getting the opportunity to look at all these other tools that you haven't been able to use, because you're trying to get the main thing to go first, right? Once you get that moving, then you're like, okay, this is going, now I can focus on this style, experiment.
You know what? Small business is like a young baby.
Yeah.
comes out, barely can talk.
Yeah.
Now can walk, he can smile, now can run.
Yeah.
It takes time to, all this stuff, it takes time. It's staged. And the mothers, specifically if you talk to a mother, they notice this progress more than a dad.
That's a great analogy.
And I think business works the same way.
Yeah.
For a small business.
Right. Like once you get to the 6-7 year mark, okay, it can walk.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't have to hold his hand. He can do it himself. Let him take challenges.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I always dreamed big. However, it's good to dream big. However, your goals had to be small. That way you don't want to be disappointed. So I make small goals instead of having one big goal. It kind of cheer you up.
Checkpoints.
And checkpoints, like every 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, I put these goals and I succeed, even though they are not big, but at least they remind you are in the right direction.
Right? Yeah. There's this thing at Stanford's MBA program they call like the Odyssey planning, and essentially it's that you look at your big goal that you have. So let's just say I want to own, I don't know, 100 gas stations. That's your big goal, right?
Yep.
You can't get there in a year. And so what they say is like from that very big goal, now rewind it back to actionable steps where you get down to what can you do every single day that builds towards that big goal. So it's like, okay, answer 10 emails, reach out to 4 banks, whatever it is, right? Do those. The compound effect will eventually get you to that big goal. And similarly with kind of what you're saying, like, all right, if I just serve my customer that's in front of me with the highest quality food, with good customer service, and make them want to come back, okay, that's my one goal every 10 minutes.
100%.
If I do that in a day, I'll do that for 20 customers. If I do that in a week, that's 100 customers. If I do that in a month, that's 5, and then it compounds.
In the food business, 100% accurate. I'm only saying in the food business because that's what I do. I have no doubt that it applies on every single business.
Honestly,
Looking at the data, we talked again about the data, how I collect the data. You go back to the software we're using for paying, for example. Majority of people pay with credit card.
Right.
There is so many information you cannot get, but one thing you get is how many times that credit card was used on your business. Was it used twice a day, twice a week, twice a month, or twice a year? You know what? Miraculously, I have a 50% people coming back at least in a single week. Which is huge in the food business.
Wow.
As a small restaurant.
A lot of repeats.
Yes, a lot of repeats.
Let me look this up because it's a very meaningful quote, and I was looking it up right now, and it was, here it is. Steve Jobs said this quote, okay, and it's that if your customer buys once, you made a sale. If they come back, you built trust. If they tell other people, you built a brand. And I think that's one of the most meaningful things when we feel like when we get our first sales, like, okay, cool, it's not over yet. When they come back the second time, they're like, okay, they trust you, they can make it again, right? And when they come back and tell other people, they bring friends, you're building a brand, you're building a community.
I think that's the ultimate goal.
Absolutely.
We always, before even the social media, word of mouth was the only way to create a brand. You know what? It still exists, even though there is right now. There is so many other ways, social media and all that. But to get someone to talk about an experience, the experience that day, coming to Moroccan Fusion, for example, he liked the service, he liked the food. The experience was amazing, and you can convince that person without trying.
Making a sale without being there.
It's amazing. If that person talks just to one person that brought back next week, that's huge. That's huge. It takes time, but it's you build a house, you can't build a house in one day.
Right.
Even, you gotta, windows. You gotta do the basement, foundation. Is the same. The business is the same way.
What's been something, I really love this data topic. As a restaurant owner, what's been like the biggest data point that you really look out for? Is there a particular data point that you're looking at in terms of your business to grow? For example, of all the dishes that you sell, right? What's the top seller, or what's something in your process now of looking at the data that you did not think about to look at the beginning, but now you're recognizing, oh, this is actually a really important information.
You know what? You made good points, because what do you sell every day? It's something that you can actually look at the end of the day and say, okay, this is what I sell the most. With that being said, because earlier you asked me about what is your profit. Every dish has a difference. It has a different profit margin. For example, I have falafel dish, I have chicken dish, and I have lamb dish. I make a lot more money selling a falafel. However, you have to have everything else to create a better experience. At the end of the day, it's convincing people to like your food. Menu has to be diverse. You can't just think about how much money I'm making out of every single dish. More to think about making the customer happy to come back. Again, I'm not saying there is no profit in lamb. But there is, the margin is less.
And I mean, this is what, grocery markets do this too, right? Like a Walmart, for example, they will sell their eggs and milk at the lowest price possible, even at times at a loss. And they'll put it at the very back of the grocery market, because even if you're going for milk and eggs, well, why are you going for milk and eggs? Well, it's the cheapest at Walmart. You're walking through that entire store, aisle by aisle, and what they're betting on is you're going to buy one more additional product. Similar with Costco. Costco sells a rotisserie chicken at a loss. They do not make money on that. They lose money. But they put it in the back because they're betting on you to go aisle by aisle by aisle and make one more purchase, and they will make money.
100%.
Right? And similarly for you, you're like a fast casual Moroccan fusion spot, right? And so maybe a lot of corporate customers are coming in, and they're going to come in groups. You know, you have Susie, John, and Joe, whomever, and one of them is a vegetarian. You need to have that falafel or that tofu dish, even though the rest of the party might want lamb or chicken. But if you don't have an option for that third person, you're not getting any of them, right?
100%.
So you can't be purely margin driven. You have to be option driven at the same time.
Diversity on your, what are you selling? Well, for this, another example I can, like restaurants use, having a menu that is average is $25 to $40, and on that menu you will find something that costs $150.
Yeah.
A lot of restaurants use this strategy is not to sell the $150 item.
Yeah.
It's to convince you that the $40 item you picked is reasonably priced.
The anchors.
It's
yeah.
And you know what? A lot of times, if you look at the data, the whole year probably they sold one item from that $150 item was only sold once. You thinking, why do we have it? This is a loss. But you know what? It's a strategy
to get you
to
to 40.
to convince you to get to the 40, thinking
you save money.
I save money. You know, I didn't want to go with the cheapest, but I'm going with $40 because it is $150.
Right.
It's a mental game. Besides just data.
Yeah.
It's like I said, like there is a lot of stuff that
goes
big
behind
corporations understand.
Yeah.
That we as a small business, sometimes it's almost impossible to understand.
Yeah, or you're just learning.
Right? Exactly.
Well, Morad, this was a very helpful, beneficial conversation. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk with us and being on the Caravan Podcast. Moroccan Fusion here in Boston. We're excited to try it and see some of the stuff that you're cooking up and get some content there. But, you know, Jessica Kleiden for making the time to chat with us.
Thank you for having me. I think it's an amazing opportunity, and I'm glad we made the conversation, and the conversation went the way I thought it would be, which is amazing.
Alhamdulillah. Well, thank you.